Thank you very much, Antonio. It's a great pleasure, first of all, to join the floor with a very old a friend of mine, which we worked together in Athens when I was the bureau chief of Hürriyet newspaper and CNN Turk television in Athens, in Greece. I want to thank the organizers, first of all, and Ambassador Marsili particularly, for inviting me to this very interesting conference and wonderful audience. It's a great pleasure for me to be in Milano. Antonio said that there are two women each side of him. We'll talk about women.
Nice woman.
Nice.
Sorry, eh?
In reality, this is something very new for me, because in my professional life, I never talked about women. I only talked about politics, international politics, domestic policy. As I told you, I was the bureau chief in Athens, which was a very challenging job, not only for a woman, but for a Turkish journalist. And plus, I was the bureau chief of the political paper, which is called Hürriyet, which is the leading paper in Turkey, as the bureau chief in Ankara. So this is something new for me, to talk about women. So I thought about it, what to say about women. There's a lot to say about women, because I believe that Turkish society is being built up by Turkish women, by the first generation of, not to start right now. I want to just, maybe, yes. I wanted to tell you a bit later on, but it started anyway, but I'll repeat it with music that time, which my parents danced. As I've told you, my parents, I think we have listened excellent presentations from the Turkish professors and from Ambassador Marsili about the general political, economic concept of Turkey. But I want to mention about how Turkey is built on the shoulders of the real mixture. My parents, I'm going to give an example of my parents. My father is coming from the eastern part of Anatolia, coming from a poor family. My mother is coming from an educated family. Her father was a judge, and they were brought up in Izmir, in the western part of Anatolia, and 6 children, all of them were sent to university. 4 girls, 2 boys, 1 judge, 1 doctor, 1 dentist. My mother is a dentist, 1 pharmacist, 2 teachers. So what happened, the story is quite interesting, really. Especially, we're talking about 1930s and 40s. My aunt became a judge, and she was appointed to Siirt in the southeastern part of Anatolia. So my mother was a dentist, so they both graduated. So as my aunt was appointed to Siirt, they both went to Siirt. That time, Siirt, in the houses of Siirt, the water was not running. So they were privileged to have a house close to the fountain so that they can carry their water with some baskets. But these 2 young, very beautiful, fashionably dressed women went to Siirt, and my mother got into this agora, you know, the shopping area where there are probably not more than 10 shops, and she rented a small shop and opened her first dentist clinic. And my aunt, as a judge, started, you know, they were both respected very much. And these 2 young ladies, one day, a very young officer came to have a look, you know, for his teeth to be taken care of. And finally, it was the mixture of a black and a white Turk, as one of the professors mentioned, as, you know, as this is the biggest debate in Turkey right now. Black and white Turk mixing together. This was done in 1940s already. I'm just going to play this. This is my mother in the high school. Now, the music, I'm afraid there's no music. This is 1939, Izmir, my mother in the sports activities. This is another, my aunt in the sport activities in 1930s. And the high school girls, my mother in the front. I wish you would hear the music as well, but I don't know what happened. And this is Istanbul University, my mother in 40s. Probably you have, okay. These are the three sisters in university in 1940s. On the left, on the right, my mother. In the middle, my aunt, the other aunt, the pharmacist and the teacher. And the judge on the left, my grandmother, my mother. And the judge in the middle, my grandfather. Again, on the left, the judge woman who went to Siirt, and my mother. And these two ladies, again, one judge, one dentist, very young and very fashionable girls to going to south, east. This is 47. And this is my mother in 48, first clinic. And this is where they have met and got married. This is a wedding in Siirt in 1948. So I just want to tell you that this mixture, this consensus has started in the Turkish society with the Republic. Now the music came out, sorry. What I want to say is Turkish women got the rights starting with the Republic and getting into the society with the Republic. As Ambassador Marsili has said, you know, Turkish women got the right to vote and to be elected in 1938, 12 years before France, and much earlier before Switzerland. But starting from 46, Turkish women, because of the democratic procedure, somehow was out of the political scene, mainly. They couldn't enter the politics. It was not easy. But they were building up in the other sectors of the society. When we come to today, I think one of the speakers, the general director of the bank, said that only one Turkish bank has 44% of the employees, executive level employees are women. This is only, we are talking about one bank. The hospitals, doctors, universities, the woman is coming from the bottom to the top, starting the last, from 1930s, 40s. Now, I think the women are reaching to the top levels of the society, to the administrative level. In the last elections in 2011, out of 550 seats, 78 are women MPs. It's not enough. It's not enough at all. I think what we need is, in the administrative level, there should be more women. Not to talk about only women's rights, which I'm not saying that the woman doesn't have problems in Turkey, which we have problems still, especially in education of the girls, we have problems, especially in the field of violence against women, there are problems, but there are about 150 women organizations who are fighting for the rights of women in every field, in politics. The last 10 years, the women organizations are pushing so much pressure on the political parties that they cannot resist anymore. Man cannot resist the big power of women coming to power, really. And I'm sure that in the next elections, there will be more women in the parliament. The target is 30% quota, which is a must in Turkey as well. It's not going to be a unique case for Turkey. It's going to be just an example of some European countries. Turkey was built up and founded as a new European state in 1920s, and the constitution was taken from France. It's a secular constitution. Civil code and penal code were taken from Switzerland and Italy. Now Turkey is in a transformation period. There is a force coming out, which is a secular, I won't call a secular force, because the force, which is an educated, not only woman as well, it's a huge group of people which were built up in the last 80 years, which is a part of the world in reality, which is a part of Europe in reality. These are world citizens. I'm just an example of one, and the other colleagues are just an example of that society. So what is seen from outside is just one angle of Turkish society. As my other colleagues have mentioned, Turkey is a multicultural, very rich society in a developing process, becoming a power, having problems, but in the coming 5 to 10 years, if this trend goes on, with economic, with political development, I have strong feeling that Turkey is going to be a real European state. Right now, I mean, this is a long process, of course. It started in 1923 with the establishment of the Republic, and it's going to be almost 100 years to reach that target. It's not easy. For England, it took I don't know how many years to establish democracy. For Italy or for Europe, the last 50 years or 60 years has been a real build-up of democracy. And right now, Europe is somehow facing a major challenge in that respect. So maybe I'm talking about the full part of the glass. We still have half of the glass is empty, but the first generation that I have mentioned, my father, my mother, and my family, are just one example of that first generation with great enthusiasm who built up the country. The coming generations are going to be more enthusiastic to build up Turkey as a world and European power. Thank you very much.